Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're diving into what was honestly one of the most nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat matchups of the 2026 World Cup quarterfinals. We're talking about Spain's absolute thriller against a super resilient Belgium side. We're going to dig into the data, break down the tactical masterclass we saw on the pitch, and unpack that sheer late-game magic that pushed Spain right through to the semis. If you're a fan of combining cold, hard stats with raw human emotion, you are definitely in the right place. So I really want you to picture this. Just imagine the tension for a second. You're in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. The game is completely deadlocked. Literally every single pass, every tackle carries the weight of an entire nation's hopes. And then you look up at the stadium clock and it hits the 88th minute. The margin for error? Absolutely zero. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how Spain navigated that soul-crushing pressure.
Section 1, the quarterfinal thriller.
The stage was set in Los Angeles. The magnificent SoFi Stadium had over 70,000 screaming fans, creating an absolutely electric atmosphere. Right out of the gate, Spain struck first. In the 30th minute, Fabián Ruiz found the back of the net, giving La Roja some huge early momentum. But, Belgium, they just refused to back down. They answered just 11 minutes later, tying it up right before the half. And then came that long, agonizing second half, which all culminated in that crazy 88th minute miracle by Mikel Merino.
Moving on to Section 2, dominating the data. To really grasp how we got to that dramatic 88th minute, we got to look under the hood. Spain held the ball for a suffocating 67.9% of the match, compared to Belgium's 32.1%. In modern soccer, when you starve your opponent of the ball to this degree, you're not just controlling the game physically, you're totally exhausting them mentally. It's like playing a giant, exhausting game of keep away.
And that position wasn't just passive passing around the back. It had real teeth. Spain fired off a massive 17 shots against Belgium's 5. It was literally a relentless, crashing wave of offensive pressure. The Belgians were basically under siege for the entire second half.
The really crucial point here is how Spain actually maintained that siege, and it all comes down to their passing. Just check out these numbers. Spain completed an incredible 598 accurate passes. Belgium, just 243. And what's even wilder is that Spain did all this with the 90.1% passing accuracy. They were just systematically dismantling Belgium's defensive structure, moving them side to side, constantly probing for that one tiny mistake. And, in the 88th minute, they finally found it. Section 3, Merino's late-game magic.
Now, we can look at spreadsheets and stats all day long, but at the end of the day, soccer requires someone to step up when their legs are heavy. For Spain, that hero is Mikel Merino, and his clutch gene is just undeniable. In the round of 16 against Portugal, he scores the lone winning goal deep into stoppage time. And then just days later, he strikes in the 88th minute to beat Belgium. Back-to-back late-game knockout winners. I mean, that is the stuff of absolute legend.
You can literally feel the sheer disbelief and joy when you read his post-match comments. He told Flash Score, and I quote here, "I couldn't have imagined something like this even in my wildest dreams. I thought it would take a long time to repeat a feat like that, and I managed it in the very next game." It's such a brilliant reminder of exactly why we watch the sport. Even the players themselves are completely stunned by the magic they create on the pitch.
Section 4, the semi-final showdown.
So, looking ahead, here are the details you need to know for this upcoming clash against France. It's Tuesday, July 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And the venue? Dallas Stadium. We're talking about an 80,000-seat stadium packed to the absolute rafters, roaring for a spot in the World Cup final. Honestly, it just doesn't get any bigger than this. Both of these teams have walked through absolute fire to get to Dallas. France had to edge out a really tough Paraguay side 1-0 before systematically taking down a super dangerous Morocco team 2-0. Spain, as we just saw, had to rely on Merino's absolute heroics to squeak past Portugal and Belgium. Both squads are incredibly battle-tested, but they've done it with very, very different styles. Now, if you think Spain is intimidated by France, just listen to this fiery quote from Spain's young phenom, Lamine Yamal. He said, "If they have to fear anyone, it's us." The confidence there is sky high, and rightfully so. Yamal has remarkably won all 5 of his previous knockout meetings against French superstar Kylian Mbappé. The psychological warfare is already in full swing for sure.
Which brings us to Section 5, Clash of World Champions. Guys, this is a battle between two of the most historically dominant soccer nations of the modern era. On one side, you have France, the 1998 and 2018 World Cup champions. They're basically the definition of a modern dynasty. On the other side, you've got Spain, the legendary 2010 champions, desperately looking to reclaim their spot at the absolute summit of world football. These are two programs that know exactly what it takes to lift the heaviest trophy in sports. So it all comes down to this: the data, the history, the late-game magic. It all collides in Dallas. Who's going to navigate the pressure? Who will dominate the possession? And most importantly, who will punch their ticket to the 2026 World Cup final? Let me know your predictions, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Enjoy the match, everyone.